Hello and welcome to episode 16 of the Livewire Gaming Show. This week we are talking about the currently very popular and early access game Scavengers. We took a week off last week because the new Destiny season came out and Mr. Editor wanted to play Destiny even though everyone hates Destiny. So we have a lot to catch up on. So what have you guys been up to for the last couple of weeks, if you can remember back that far?
I just learned how to count down from 10 a second ago.
Congratulations.
Very badly. What have I been doing? I've been doing my normal routine of WoW, Apex, a little bit of Destiny. Actually played a little bit more Destiny this week than I thought I would.
I did notice you were playing quite a bit yesterday morning. You were on for 4 or 5 hours, I think.
Yeah. Which I was surprised myself. I just logged on to do my weeklies. I was like, if anything, I'm just trying to get pinnacle drops for Vogue on Saturday. But then, yeah, it actually wasn't a bad experience. I kind of lost it on my Crucible weekly, so I kind of hit it on the head there and said no, just grenade launchers and shit like that. Not a good experience. But yeah, just been playing some Destiny, playing Apex, doing our ranked grind, playing WoW, moving up in the ranks. Started to do mythic dungeons this week, and doing mythic keys and stuff like that. It's a really good way of doing it. So every dungeon you do, you drop a key for the next higher level. It goes with the 15, but it tells you which dungeon you have to do. So you have to go in and slot that key, and you get extra rewards in the vault and stuff like that. It's really good. It's really hard. So yeah, just trying to level out gear and stuff. What else? Other than that, just the usual.
Yeah. What have you been up to, Stephen?
I took some time off work last week to play Destiny up until late.
Sounds familiar, that does. That sounds very familiar.
Yeah. So I was grinding that out last week. I'll save my thoughts on it for another time. Then, what else? I was playing something else, actually. Well, the week before I tried Resident Evil 7. Streamed that live.
That scary.
I'll put a link to that stream in the comments, in the description below. Stephen makes funny faces when he's scared. It's great.
That, like, I want to go back and play it, and I'm determined to get through it, but Jesus, that is... It's not that it's even scary. I think it's the dread of, like, having Jack chase you through the fucking house.
Pop your leg off.
Yeah, like, where did that come? At the end of the bit, he's standing over. He's like, "Here's
some tablets." Yeah,
and I'm like, he's definitely gonna just go into my head. But no, he lets you take it, and you run off again, and you just reattach your leg with a fucking piece of liquor, and you're like, what is going on? So
that's how you do it in real life as well. For anyone who's wondering,
Jesus juice.
Just pour a bit of vodka on there, and you're good to go. Forget about the magic. Forget about the magic sponge. It's all about that magic liquor.
Yeah, so I'm interested to find out, does that get explained at all? Why you can just pour medicine over your leg and reattach it? And then what else? I definitely was playing something else recently.
Did you finish Abe? Did you go back through it to get your good
Fuck
endings?
that.
No,
I haven't. I need to set time aside to do it. Like it's the fact I need to actually put hours aside to complete each mission, so can't be arsed. I on the foot of the Final Fantasy Endwalker full trailer and FanFest. I went back on and was trying to level up my white mage, and it's hard. I don't know how people be mages in games like that. It's hard.
That Endwalker, the Final Fantasy FanFest, that was an emotional deep dive into a good feel good story at the end.
Yeah, I haven't watched that, and I'm not going to. When everyone says they're crying, I'm like, yeah, I'll avoid it for now.
Yeah, it was emotional.
Yeah, but the good thing is we got Bloodborne 2 confirmed in the Reaper class.
Basically, yeah.
So so I've been enjoying that now. I'm trying to find ways to go back and do the leveling dungeons so I can get people to carry me through as a white mage rather than just a poor DPS class.
Is that not considered a strong character?
No, the white mage, it would be a good character, and the white mage in particular is a good one. But actually, See, you would understand this. So in WoW, a mage class is purely healing. In Final Fantasy, you're expected to do DPS.
Okay.
So you heal and do DPS at the same time. So it's trying to figure out how to keep the tank alive, and and there isn't even a rotation. There's skills you learn, and you learn how to proc off each other. And I'm only like level 35, so it's quite low. I haven't got any of my major skills.
Okay.
But then you have tanks who don't mitigate damage, and then you have stupid DPS who run off and want to get slaughtered, and so it's stressful. But I'm enjoying it. But I just want to get people who know how to white mage to kind of tell me how to get good.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those things.
Especially when you're the only healer as well, it does all come down on you if shit goes wrong.
Yeah. So, but it's fun. I'm enjoying it. I'm waiting for the 2U to get the free trial to 60.
I'm balls deep in WoW. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think people can only have room for one MMO in their life, really.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
I'm getting so into it, but I know I haven't even scratched the surface in terms of I think I only cracked 1,000 quests or something like that the other day, and there's like a fucking achievement for like 5,000 and so more onwards, and I was like, I didn't even know there was that many in the game, but you just you look at your achievements board and you're like, I'm literally like 10% completed. It's disgusting.
Yeah. So what about you, Kev? What have you been up to the last while?
Well, I also took a week off last week to play through the new season of Destiny. Again, I'll keep my opinions to that, but I've sunk in. I don't know how many hours I've sunk in the last couple of weeks, so my hours kind of speak for my opinions, really. Looking forward to Vault of Glass on Saturday. It's rose tinted glasses on. Thinking of being nostalgic about that, so it should be hopefully will be a fun night. I think the weekend before Season of Splicer came out, which was last Tuesday, I think the weekend before that I sat my ass on the sofa one of the evenings and just...
You did it!
I sat down and just got through the last 6 or 7 hours of The Last of Us Part 2, which again, I will keep my opinions, because we will be discussing that on the podcast in the next few weeks, I think. So I'll keep my opinions on that to myself. I'm glad I'm finished it though. It's a weight off my shoulders, because it's been looking at me on my fucking, like, The Last of Us on PS. It takes up like, I think it's 95 or 100 gigabytes of space.
It is disgusting.
And I was looking at it going, I need to get you off my dashboard, because you're just taking up too much space. So it was nice. It was like, finish, credits rolled, uninstall. And then they released a 60 FPS update today, which would have been nice, but it's done now.
Can you go back and play Bloodborne, and then when you finish that, maybe the new 60 FPS will come out?
I'll try my
best.
best.
The thing, isn't it?
I mean, E3 is just around the corner. Like, it's possible we could play some E3 or Summer Game Fest bingo and put all the things that won't happen on there. But I'm glad to finish that. I know Dylan loved his time with The Last of Us 2, and you haven't played it, but I find myself somewhere in the middle. But I'll go into those reasons when I can properly write them out. Apart from that, I haven't played a whole lot other games, I don't think. I'm watching a program with Louise called The Kaminsky Method, which is really, really good. It's on Netflix. If neither of you have watched it, it's Michael Douglas and some other old guy. Basically, Michael Douglas is an actor. That is...
We all know that, Kev.
Yeah. No, but...
I'm the dude who plays the dude.
It's like, it's actorception then. He's an actor playing an actor.
He's a Joey Tribbiani.
He's a Joey Tribbiani. Yeah, basically. But it's just it's fun. It's a comedy, but it's kind of like a serious comedy, but it's like not in your face. Haha, this is meant to be funny. It's just naturally funny. But it's really good. They're only like 25-minute episodes, and season 3 is out next week. So I would recommend that's The Kaminsky Method. It's good. It's good. Okay. It's enjoyable. So check that out. Other than that, I moved my desk from here to here, and then back to here again, because that's just what I do.
Huh.
Yeah.
I was wondering, yeah, because you'd said during the week you'd moved it, and now it's
I
back
had
again.
reasons, and I can't remember what the reason I moved it back. I just think the room is just better with it here. I'll move it again.
The
and see.
OLED idea is gone, is it?
No, that's not gone. That'll just go there now. It's fine. I'll move it again in another 6 months' time, and then move it back 2 weeks later. That's what I do.
One of those things you need to see it play out.
Yeah.
For to know it's like, I know this isn't gonna work, but I need to see that it doesn't work.
Yeah. But anyway, that's been me, to be quite honest.
Nice.
I'm sure there's something I've forgotten, but
Actually, do you know what I did start, Stephen? Funny enough, the Phoenix Rising DLC, first one.
Oh yeah.
New God. Yeah, I'm only about a handful of hours into it. I'd say about 3 or 4. You learn like new abilities straight away. You're basically not wiped clean, but you're in Olympus now. After fighting on Earth or whatever that island was called. But yeah, it's so much harder. So much harder. The puzzles are dialed up a notch. Yeah. Same concept of you have to do things for the 4 gods, but you have to do like 3 or 4 vaults for each one, and then like one big vault at the end of it. But yeah, they're literally dialed up a notch or 2 in terms of like trying to figure out what's going on. But yeah, that's been good. I just forgot about that. It just came back to me because 2 weeks was a long time.
It was like, yeah. But
I missed it.
It doesn't really feel like it's been a long time for me because I've just been playing so much fucking Destiny. It's really just been everything I've done in the evenings and the weekend at the moment. Not even to get raid ready, just because I've been enjoying it.
That's good.
Not allowed to enjoy it though. You're just not.
I did see something.
You're not allowed to
though,
enjoy
on the
games.
Bungie store, which tickled my fancy. The pin, or the seal pin for the raid was posted up, and the name is really, really cool.
What is it?
You don't want to be spoiled?
No, I'm happy. It's not. It's up on the website, so I'm happy.
It's
by the way, hold on.
The normal.
Hold on, Dill. If you don't want to know the name of the seal for the Vault of Glass Triumphs, skip forward 20 seconds from now. Go.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. It's just your standard bronze seal with the Vogue kind of logo on it, and it's called Fatebreaker.
Interesting.
Which I really like. Do you know when it carries like that? Oh yeah, you know.
Yeah.
It's an interesting title because
I really like that.
The implications of it.
Because we are fate bringers, now we're the fate breakers.
I'm looking for. I really hope I get a fate bringer the weekend.
If not, you have the time lost ones on heroic, which I was happy that they announced that they are.
There's 2 armor sets as well, which is good.
Yeah.
When was this announced?
I don't know if it was announced. I know
it was announced before the start of the season. No, it was announced.
Oh.
They announced that there would be. I think it was announced at the start of the, before the season when they were announcing the weapons for the. So each activity has 4 different weapons. So Vanguard, Gambit, and Crucible all have 4 weapons for the season, and then the Nightfall strikes each have a new weapon each. So you got the fusion rifle last week, you have Hung Jury this week, and then the snipers next week. But they announced alongside that they were saying that Vogue is also getting a hard mode raid or a challenge mode raid that have the time lost weapons is what they're called. They're basically the same as the adept weapons you get in trials or in the strikes in Nightfalls. So it's just
they're chromified.
They look really cool. But there's also 2 armor sets as well, which is also really good.
I didn't know that about the armor sets. That's really good.
There's 2 armor sets, which is great.
Hopefully it's a little different than the Callus.
Hopefully it's not just a different color.
Yeah, like the Callus ones were a bit kind of underwhelming because it was literally just a different shade of fucking brown.
I have a feeling it might just be the ornamented versions from Rise of Iron, which I'd be absolutely fine with because that gear was nice.
Yeah.
It's substantial enough that it warrants showing off that I got this through heroic or hard. But
also
anyway,
great.
We'll keep that for.
Yeah, it's also great because it means that people will want to be actively doing raids for longer into the season, which is always good.
It'd be nice having our Tuesday kind of ritual now with jumping in, doing our challenges and stuff like that for season.
It will.
Cool. Should we move on?
Yeah, let's move on to the main topic, which is a game called Scavengers.
Yeah.
For anyone not aware of what Scavengers is, before we get into it, Scavengers is currently, I don't know if it's going to be paid when it launches, but it's in early access at the moment. It is free to play in early access on Steam or the Epic Game Store. So go give it a shot, basically. It's a third-person, over-the-shoulder shooter in the style of Fortnite. Is probably the art style of it, closest. Yeah. Basically TLDR. Should probably keep the TLDR to the end, but a TLDR before we start talking about it. It is a battle royale version of the Division's Dark Zone. So if you played the Division, it's a battle royale version of that Dark Zone. So yeah, we played a bit yesterday. Me and Dilla played it a couple of weeks ago, and the three of us had a couple of hours worth of games last night. So I don't know where to start. Where do you want to start with it?
Steven, what was your first kind of... I don't want to talk with the experience of playing it. Like, you went in blind last night, basically, apart from the tutorial mission. So, like, how did you feel like the loop went?
Yeah, so I was making some pointers earlier on about things to talk about. And the first one was the gameplay loop. So I think the first thing to point out is that the game, basically after the tutorial mission, gives you fuck all indication of what you need to do. The tutorial doesn't prepare you for what needs to be done. The
tutorial really is just here's how you craft something, here's how you pick up a weapon, here's how you shoot that weapon.
Yeah.
It doesn't even really give you an indication of what the game is even about.
No.
Like, you could literally put that tutorial at the start of any game ever created and it'd still feel the same.
Yeah, and it's a shame that it doesn't give you a better introduction, because the first thing you do then is you go in and you're in your BR map and you're against other teams. So it is a little bit daunting, and thankfully I had the two of you there kind of coach me through it, so that was fine. But the actual gameplay loop itself, I actually really, really like it. I like that idea of going into a battle royale where your main objective isn't just to hunt the other teams or survive them, but it's to work an objective and then safely extract yourselves as a team. Like, you can avoid the other teams if you want, you can engage them if you want, but that's not the main objective. So you could collect all of your data points, hide from all the teams, and then extract at the end and come top without ever having to challenge another team. So I really like that idea, and littering the world with random enemies is a really good way of doing that as well. It gives that sense of like you're actually doing something. You're not just passively hacking away at some data nodes or something. So I really like the gameplay loop. The Battle Royale, their take on a Battle Royale with PvE and objective-based gameplay really stuck out to me. And I'd actually forgotten, so Kev, when you said it's a third-person over-the-shoulder shooter, which I typically hate, I'd forgotten it was a third-person over-the-shoulder shooter.
I'm usually the same. Yeah, I'm usually the same.
And I didn't mind it.
I actively avoid third-person shooters.
Same, like I don't play the Division.
Just like clarify that. Like, I'd play, say, a God of War, which is a third-person over-the-shoulder, or a Uncharted, for example, because it's an action game, it's not a shooter. Whereas the likes of Fortnite or PUBG back in the day before it got first person, or The Division, I generally try to avoid that sort of game because I just don't enjoy the third person aspect of it. I prefer first person shooting. So yeah, like for me to enjoy it as well, it was strange, but yeah, you almost don't feel like it's third person in a weird way.
Exactly. That's it. Like, until you had just said it there in the introduction, I'd completely forgotten it was third person. So, Dill, yeah, I really enjoyed the main gameplay loop of it. I think it's enjoyable. I think the matches don't seem to go on too long as well. Like, I wasn't paying attention, but it seems like there's a definitive time to each game.
Yeah, like you're not waiting for the ring. The ring isn't basically telling you, I'm coming in now in 3 minutes, do what you have to do. It just it's coming in. You have your objectives. You're going from compound to compound.
How
to get
long
the
are
data
games?
points.
Is it 20 minutes?
See, we couldn't find it, but there's no actual time countdown in the UI to tell you the zone's coming in. Because with normal BRs, it'll tell you the next zone, and then it'll give you a countdown to 3 or 4 minutes till the circle comes in. Whereas this tells you the next circle's here, and it instantly starts. Which I kind of like, because there's no sitting around. You're doing your data point to data point. You have your objectives, and by the time you realize, holy shit, the dropship is coming. You know, which is really good.
So
yeah, I can't find how long it is, but I think it feels like it's around 20 minutes.
15-20 minutes. Yeah.
So yeah, you play as you were saying, you spawn you spawn on a random. If you survive, if you don't get killed by the first load of ads like I did last night, but you spawn on a random part of the map, and it's a fairly big map. Like considering that there's a lot of outposts on it. And you go to those outposts, and there's enemies there, AI enemies there, and you clear out that to get the data points and to get weapons, to pick up better weapons and craft your own gear. So you have a level up bar for the team at the bottom, and you use building or upgrade materials to craft your shields and get better shields. So it's not like in Apex or in PUBG or in Fortnite where you have to pick up better shield. Fortnite's a bad example, but the other ones, it's RNG based in that. Oh, I found the blue shield, or I found the purple shield.
Yeah.
In this, you kill enemies and you open up chests. You scavenge for supplies, and that passively levels up your team, which means that you can then actively craft your better shields. So it takes away that RNG aspect almost of a lot of other Battle Royale games, and that's maybe a talking point for people lately, that they don't like. That's what they don't enjoy about the RNG, about Battle Royales, is that RNG aspect. It's, our team and that team landed in the same compound, they all got purple shields and guns, and we're sitting here with nothing. So the way that Scavengers is set up, it just eliminates that completely. Now, not completely, because you can just still not get good loot and then a team could rush you, but it happens so infrequently that it's not an issue, which is maybe because there's no helicopter or party bus or anything that you fly off. The game randomly chooses where you spawn, which I actually quite like that. I think it'd work quite well in
it's not so much of a scramble then.
Yeah, it's not so much of a scramble. There's no RNG for the first 30 seconds, 2 minutes of the game. But yeah, you go to the compounds, you break that, you get better gear, you upgrade your gear, and then you have your data points, which the team with the most data points at the ends wins. But yeah, it's good. Then you've run into other teams and it pushes you in. So yeah, I really like that gameplay loop myself.
Just going off what Stephen said, it's you play it whichever way you want, which I think is the
exactly
best part.
Yeah,
because
you can play it as a PvE game or a PvP game or both.
Yeah. And you're not hindering yourself either way, whatever you do. Like the objective is to get your levels up as quick as possible so you can craft better shields, better weapons and stuff. So if you're just landing in with the normal BR experience of let's go from team to team to team to team, you'll still have white shields because you don't pick up enemies, people you kill. You only pick their data points because they can spawn in, and even if you full kill them,
you don't get their gear. You
don't get their gear. So if you want to play like that for the BR aspect, that's fine. You can still do it, but it incentivizes you to play an objective, which I think is missing from a lot of BRs because a lot of them are just rotating into the circle, taking on teams. But it's good to have the choice to do either or, and it is nice to have that balance.
Yeah, and I think it's nice that it rewards teamwork more than individual play. Like, think of PUBG. If you've one good player, they can carry you to your chicken dinner. But in this, like, Kev to me is the god player of the three of us. And last night he shouts, he's like, "Fuck, I'm dead to ads." I'm like, I haven't died to a single ad, but it's not that.
I kind of overextended a little bit. I'll be honest. Yeah.
But that
with a bow.
Thing, like, but it's that idea of like I actually felt like I was contributing that because the good players are struggling and I'm still alive doing what I could do. And those
even in your PvP engagements last night, like you slayed a couple of people.
Yeah, and I think that comes down to even just I think we'll talk about it in terms of gameplay and abilities and stuff, but just how it plays and how they've integrated a lot of their systems, it seems fair. Like, even when snipers were coming across the map, I could disengage from them. Like, a sniper couldn't just one-shot me from across the map, and I'm like, cool, I didn't see him, I'm dead now. Where they could in PUBG most of the time.
Yeah.
But in this, it's like, you can see them. They even have the things like you can see the glint from a good distance away, so if you spot the glint, you can get away. It's quite, I guess,
it's forgiving in a way,
friendly.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah,
it's forgiving without being too easy.
For a survival game, it's quite forgiving in that way. Yeah,
but then the gold comes in,
but it's
and
not
other
forgiving in
survival
other ways.
parts
Yeah. So
and
I think that's actually the part we didn't actually discuss, was the survival aspects of it as well.
Yeah,
Is
we
that
can get
like-
onto that.
Yeah, we can move on to that one. Stephen, you want to finish your point and then move on to it?
No, I was just gonna say, in terms of gameplay loop, we should probably talk about that survival part.
Yeah, so like, and the other side of that game is like you have your PvE and your PvP aspect of it. You're leveling up your characters, you're getting loot, you're scavenging for loot, but you're also scavenging for supplies to keep yourself alive, like in a survival game. I'm not really good with survival games. I don't really play them, so I don't have any examples off the top of my head. But as part of the game, you have a health bar, which obviously if you're taking damage off enemies or the ads, your health goes down. But you also have an energy bar, which over time the maximum energy you can have depletes. So you start off with 100%, but after a couple of minutes you maybe only be able to get to 80% and then 70%. So you have to eat food that you scavenge for or you kill animals for to keep your energy bar at the maximum you can, or you aren't able to run as much or whatever. But you also have a heat bar or a cold bar, whatever you want to call it. So because it's a harsh climate, it's a snow map. It's Europa, but it's a snow map. So over time, your character gets cold. So you have to use thermal boosters to keep your character warm, or you can also stop by fires that are dotted around the compounds or around the map. They warm you up again. That if your cold bar runs out completely, your character starts to take damage and then you die. So you also have to actively keep yourself warm. So it's really like you're managing multiple systems all at the same time. So I think if you were to jump in the way you did, Dill, on day one when this first launched out, whatever, like it could have been quite overwhelming trying to juggle everything. Where you're like, wait, what do I have to do to fix this problem? What do I have to do? So you're managing your energy, you're managing your cold, you're trying to get new gear, you're trying to craft gear. So there's a lot to manage in one go. That it would be quite overwhelming for someone who doesn't have necessarily a guide or a couple of guides to sherpa them through their first few games. Yeah, but that's another problem. We'll move on to that in a minute. But yeah, the whole survival aspect's good.
That was another thing we found, like in the early couple of days with it, that we didn't know the incentive was to level up to unlock your crafting abilities. Because when you spawn in, you haven't got the ability to craft any thermals, or all you have is your shield.
Point. Yeah. How would it
so
thermals don't really spawn very well on the map. Fires, yeah.
And there is medical compounds as well that you can kind of go to. So we kind of put 2 and 2 together and done that as a loop. And then in the menu, there's a whole research section that you basically you can craft X, Y, and Z weapon, from a handgun to shotguns to snipers. You can craft grenades, trip mines. You can craft medical supplies, med kits, bandages, and your thermals. So it doesn't really explain that well, and that's something I really do hope they look into a bit more for regular release.
I think the devs are aware of that though.
Yeah, and it just there's so much consumables in the game that it is a bit overwhelming. Like there was times where I was like, it's only early access, I'm not even going to look at all the crafting stuff, but then it betters your gameplay later on when you do that. So it is incentivizing. It would just be nice if it was a little bit more forgiving in that aspect, that you're not kind of looking for certain or specific things.
Even just like in-game hints that, I don't know, say for the first 10 games you play, when your character gets the 30% cold bar left, that the game gives you, even if it's just your teammate.
It's a prompt.
So you know the way Apex does it, where like your teammates say stuff throughout the game. Oh, the rings. Oh, we're separated. Oh, whatever. If Scavengers did it, that say whatever character Dylan's playing as shouts, "Oi, Tarek," or whatever it is, take a thermal boost, just so that
Your
it kind
character does say that though.
does it. Oh well, there. Never
Yeah,
mind me.
when you do get to a certain point, he says it is getting a bit cold. Maybe there's a fire around here. There is a few.
Maybe they need to make it a bit more. Yeah, it could just pop up a little bar, like a hint bar. Take thermal boost to heal warmth or whatever. Yeah,
and same with your stamina. If that's running low, it'll say like, "I haven't eaten in a while. Maybe I should eat something."
Oh, actually, yeah. Now that you say it, yeah, because I had you and Etsky shouting it at me, and then Stephen had me and you shouting it at him. Yeah. I didn't hear them necessarily, so yeah, you're actually right. It does actually. So yeah, GG's developers, you did a good job, and ignore me for my unnecessary criticism. Keep doing you.
What they do need to do, though, is, I think you're right, with a hint at the bottom of the screen.
Or even in load screens with 4 games.
Well, I think what could work is not the 10 game idea, but that like when it comes up saying, you know, you're really cold, find a fire, or learn how to craft in the research tab in the home screen.
Yeah,
and then it's like, oh, okay, it's telling me I need to do this, because I would have never gone into that tab. I never would have thought of anything until you said, you can craft these. And then when we went to level up, you went, go look and see, can you craft it? And I did.
Yeah.
And you could craft it. And I think that, going back to the survival loop then, like I think that's a really intuitive way to make the survival aspects more manageable. Because if you had to just loop between the fire pits and the medical campsites, it would become a PvP game then, because you'd be camping them. You'd know if I camp,
have to come to you.
Oh, maybe that's what that team were doing.
Oh, I know.
Maybe they weren't able to craft thermals yet. Maybe it was their first game.
They were sitting at the camp.
Yeah, that makes sense now.
But then, so doing stuff like that then changes it from the play it your own way to you have to play it our way. You have to go to campfires, and I think that would make it less enjoyable for me, because the survival aspect drives you into PvP then. So for me, I feel like they actually found a good balance with outside you can research and craft your bits to make the survivability aspects in the game more to what you want. Maybe you want to campfires, so you're going to sit outside with a sniper waiting and just thermal yourself till you see people coming in. But as well, then being able to craft your own weapons. Like, because in the last game we had last night,
and they're fucking good.
I had a bow and a hand cannon, whatever it was, and we got trashed, and I had nothing to do. I hadn't got anything to kill them with properly. But in the craft your own weapon thing, there's a sniper and there's AR that I really want, and being able to just have that, so when you get to whatever level 2 or 3 to craft it, and be like, I know I have a good weapon. I know I can now take these engagements. It just, as you were saying, Kev, takes the RNG out a little bit. I can actually work on my game as such and play it properly and know what engagements I can go into and what ones I shouldn't, and get an actual play style.
Yeah, because you're not worrying so much about, I only have a bow and a fucking melee weapon. Whereas I only have a bow and a melee weapon. If we get to level 2, I'll be able to craft X, Y, and Z. Yeah, which is nice, and
it's very nice.
I don't know if there is another BR that do that same system, or one of the top tier ones anyway.
I'm not. I want to say that the Division was it survival? Was the Division
mode?
So whatever the survivor mode in Division 1 was, that they completely scrapped. It was a 12-person or 16-person BR. For what it's worth, Scavengers is a 60-person BR, so there's 20 teams of 3 people. But I think the Division's survivor mode might have done something like that. But I never played it. Sadly, I regret not doing it now. But I think that might have. But the likes of Apex, PUBG, Fortnite, Call of Duty Warzone, none of them do it, no.
Because I know Fortnite have a crafting system, in terms of if you have a white gun, you can, I don't know what you
Yeah.
need to do, but you can upgrade that to a blue gun, you know, that kind of way. But not in terms of you have nothing, here's something.
I think that'd be a good system for scavengers as well, actually, that you can upgrade your gun over time.
You can in the research menu.
Oh no, I mean in game. So if I have a white bow, I can if I have enough upgrade materials, I can turn that to a blue bow or a purple bow or whatever the colors are. But yeah, no, it's a really good system. All right, I think they need to point people more towards that research system, because I felt the same as Steven when I played. I was like, only for you guys that said it to me, or I was like, how do I get thermals? Oh, you need to craft them. How do I do that? Oh, you need to level up. So as soon as I could level up and do it, I was like, right, need my thermals. Because you needed to survive. Otherwise, you know what I was doing last night? I was crafting them to give to Steven. But then that's taken away from what you can make for yourself, or your upgrade your armor more, or upgrade your weapons more. So I think the game could do better in shoving people towards that research stuff. Because there's a lot of really good things that you can craft your characters, and you can upgrade. Yeah, you craft a better version of your characters.
The signature
weapon, and you have the wildcard weapons, which I guess Steven spoke about them. It's the sniper or the AR, where you can craft a really good gun right off the bat, but you also have your survival stuff in there, or your grenades are in there as well. So I think that menu is really unintuitive, and it's great. There's a lot going on, especially because it's early access, so we're all new players. But I think for a first time playing it is a lot of information, and it doesn't really guide you through the research. And again, the developers are fully aware of that, but it could do with a tutorial, or even just have some of that stuff ready to go off the bat. So from the experience and from the stuff that you salvage during games, you can upgrade your stuff or craft new abilities or new weapons or new gear. So you've got time, so you have to research them. So the thermals, I think, take 20 minutes or whatever to craft or to do the research on, and then you can craft them. You can have them on your character as a craftable ability. So yeah, I think it's really, really good and cool system that just needs to be explained a bit better. Yeah
I like that. I'm sure
go on, Dale.
They have commented on Reddit threads where people were talking about that. So it is nice that they have taken that into account, because I'm sure they were probably just saying it's a 50-50. It will work or it won't work. Let's see the feedback and then make a decision for the full release. But
yeah, it works. It really does work. It just needs to be, I wouldn't say
diluted a bit.
Yeah, just made a bit easier to follow, a bit simpler. Because I think if you go in there, it almost looks like a microtransaction menu.
Yeah.
And you kind of go, MTX, no. There is a microtransactions page as well, but you can earn that stuff over time, or you can put your real money in and get it quicker. It's in every game. There's no point getting pissed off about it too much. But it does look kind of like a microtransaction menu, so you're like, I'm not spending money to be able to make thermals, I'll just go to, So I think it could be just explained a little clearer and just easier to follow for everybody.
I think one thing that they do need to clean up as well in their UI is the actual crafting and inventory system. I hate that I can't, like, when I want to eat something, if I have just equipped thermals, I have to hit inventory.
You don't have to do that.
We see, that's not, if you look in the settings menu for the keybind stuff, it's not very clear which thing is like a wheel.
It's not clear. But yeah, so for me, I think the default button is F on M and K. For me, I have it on E. If you hold down that button, it brings the wheel up for you. Now, only for I've played Apex, and Apex is healing, so with your shields or your meds or your whatever health kits, only for you hold down the number 4 to bring up the wheel to select them. I wouldn't have even thought of doing that. So I agree. It could, because in my head, when I started playing it first, I was treating it like PUBG as well. In the same idea, Stephen, that bring up my inventory, click the thing I want, and take it. You don't have to do that. You hold down the key, and it brings up the wheel for you. It could be more obvious, but it does do it.
Press L1 for heads.
I don't have L1. I've got LB. Is that any good?
No.
Okay.
I think that's a good analysis of the crafting section, because there's just too much going on, but it is a great system that they're trying to implement, because it feels original, and like Stephen said, it gives you the ability to not worry so much about, I can't take this fight, I've got shit weapons, I've got shit loot.
I think it takes the best parts of a lot of different things. So it takes like the Division style game or a Fortnite style game, and then it kind of blends that really well with a survival, so the likes of Ark or one of those games, and it takes the best bits of them and blends them together really well. So I think it's promising. It just needs to be refined, made a bit clearer. 100% they know that. That's why it's early access. So it's great. One thing that we haven't really touched on is the actual gunplay, and the gunplay feels clean. It's not Destiny, but nothing is Destiny, so it's an unfair comparison. It's not the same as a Call of Duty gunplay, but it's as good as Fortnite's. It's better. It's probably better than Fortnite's actual gunplay. Again, I think the best comparison for the gunplay is probably the Division. I think it's that.
I would have said Fortnite. From playing a lot of Fortnite in the early days of it, it does feel not the exact same, but
it's very close,
very similar. Yeah, especially sniping and stuff like that. It does feel.
Yeah, as someone who didn't like Fortnite mainly because of its gunplay, that's why I think it's quite close. It feels nice. The guns feel nice to use. They really did.
Yeah.
I didn't have a problem with them. And the movement needs to be commented on, because the movement is as good as Apex's movement.
So good.
GG. It has that slide. You even have it if you're sliding down a slope and you hit your jump button, you get a speed boost to that jump. It's fantastic. Well done on your movement, guys.
And no fall damage. That's the biggest.
And no fall damage.
Yeah.
In terms of the gunplay, I think one thing that I noticed yesterday. So I agree. I think the gunplay is pretty good.
Yeah. For a third-person shooter, it's very good.
Yeah, because you still get that intrinsic awful recoil and not being able to aim properly, but it's more manageable. I found even with an SMG at kind of longer engagement range, I was still able to consistently land headshots if I tapped the trigger, which was nice. But what I noticed yesterday was, particularly when we were chasing that one guy who fell down a cliff and we were trying to get him, when I was shooting with the AR, I could see the bullet drop off.
It has bullet drop. Yeah.
So I didn't realize I had bullet drop off.
Yeah, it's not hit scan. It's not hit scan. It's the other one.
It was really good because the way they did it was you could clearly see where your bullet went, so it wasn't a full tracking. But from that, I was still able to go, okay, I think if I aim over here with Waze Run, I can do it. And I managed to clip him for 3 every so often. I was like, okay, I'm not doing much, but it's cool that I'm still able to, in my head, go, I think I can do this. As someone who's not good at PvP, I'm going to try and track him.
You were confident in the gunfights. I watched you pop your bubble and shit all over that person in the middle of that town with your shotgun. It was great. You cleaned up.
That was just my Titan bubble being like, oh, safety bubble. Fucking worked though, thankfully. But yeah, it's the gunplay feels good for what it is. And
as somebody who played The Last of Us a week and a half ago, the gunplay is worlds apart from that.
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, as they're both third-person over-the-shoulder shooters. Well, okay, one's a shooter, one's an action-adventure game, but the actual shooting, it was worlds better. So yeah, it's fine. I have no issues with it. How's it like on controller? Is it aim assisty or what's it like? Is there any aim assist or is it just point.
I'm sure there is with the input of controller, but nothing drastic.
I'm not
that
actually
I'd
sure.
notice.
Yeah.
No.
Because you were getting some nice snipes yesterday.
See, that's another thing. It's like it doesn't. How do I phrase it? Like you were saying earlier on, it takes away the hero aspect of it because the enemies aren't bullet sponges, but they're not exactly like made of paper either. So if you're up close in a fight and you're shooting one person, but two people are shooting you, you're gonna get downed.
Yeah.
So you can't. It's not like Apex where if you crack someone, it's just a half a mag into him. Whereas this feels like if you're pushing with an SMG, your whole mag might be going into them every shot hits, and they still might not be cracked. So it does really incorporate playing as a team.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I really enjoy playing with sniping like that. Is that
because I think
two
as
people
Destiny
push up.
players, as Destiny players, like Destiny's aim assist is through the roof. Like Destiny's aim assist is overkill, especially with a controller. So just wondering how it felt just in a different game, because I know a lot of PC games don't go with aim assist. I'm trying to think of an example that doesn't use aim assist, and it's just very hard to play against mouse and keyboard players because you're basically playing with the same aim assist as them, but they're very accurate point and click, whereas you have only got one of these. Yeah.
No, it feels fine. I enjoy it. So
Good.
No complaints on that.
Good.
Which I think we should move on to the signature weapons then that each character has, which is good. Just on the topic of sniping. So each character.
Mine's a shotgun. Shit.
I
you
think
got shafted with that.
Yeah, I think, Stephen, you're this isn't meant to be offensive. You're probably not the best case to complain about that because you don't like using shotguns. Whereas I've watched Etsky use that thing, and it's quite frightening. In the right hands, that your character, I can't think of the female character's name. Valera. There's 3 characters unlocked at the beginning. You can buy the others, and Valera's shotgun in the right hand seems pretty beastly. Dill, you want to talk about that sniper? Come on, I can see you.
Yeah, no, just in terms of there's 8. I think it's 8 characters to choose from at the start. 3 are auto unlocked. So each character has a signature weapon. The guy I play, Tariq, he has a sniper. Steven's one, Valera, is a shotgun. And Kev was playing as Halden, which is a
semi-automatic AOR.
Semi-automatic, yeah. There's another guy, Cruz, who has a submachine gun. I can't think of it. One of them's a bow for another person as well. So they all have this ability that if you want to play a certain style, you pick this character and then you can craft other weapons to work alongside it. So yeah, they're not overpowered, I wouldn't say by any means. They're strong. Nice fit.
Yeah, they're strong. They're nice. They're probably like on a scale of 1 to 10, they're probably a 7.5 out of 10.
Yeah,
that you can use it the whole way through if you want. Yeah.
Like it is nice that they're not overpowered, so it's not as if certain characters have not the kind of pay to win aspect, but it's like everyone's gonna be playing as this character because their signature weapon is ridiculous.
Did you unlock any of the other 5?
Yes, I have unlocked Cruz, which is a submachine gun one. It's good. It feels like a generic submachine gun, but it's just
enjoy
it's
sniping.
a blue, so it's an upgrade. Yeah, the sniper is so nice, and I think
because
a lot of the floor loot isn't ranged, isn't scoped, and that's one thing I would like them to change if they did introduce not so much attachments, but if you could upgrade, say, a ground AOR, if you could upgrade that to say a 2x sight or a
that's actually really good feedback. Yeah, I was actually thinking the exact same thing last night.
Yeah, and it adds that much more range to it, so it feels like even though we're talking about bows, there's no scope on the bow, so it feels like that's a short to medium range rather than a long range. Whereas when you're upgrading in the crafting section, the research section later on in the gameplay, you can add better scopes onto these things. So I'm assuming the bow has one as well, but the floor loot doesn't, so it does kind of bridge that gap.
Yeah, that's actually that's a really good point actually, because I was thinking that last night that there was some fights where you were sniping somebody and I was like, I can't hit these because it's slightly out of my range with my AOR, And if I had a scope on this, I could actually be able to hit more consistent shots. So I've been able to have scopes. Yeah, that's actually a really good point.
So each character has their signature weapon and they have their signature ability, which I just keep relating it back to Destiny and Apex because it feels very similar.
Yeah, like, it's the same thing. Yeah.
The shotgunner drops
it's very
a
Apex
bubble that you can shoot out of type thing. Yours is a instant res, like a lifeline to me. And mine drops like what are they called? Like trip mines, like flashbang trip mines. Cruz, the other character with the submachine gun, he has like an octane stim as his main ability. So same as any other BR, each character has their reason to play, and if you want to play more defensively with a bubble, or if you want to be aggressive with extra speed and stuff like that. One of the girls later on with the bow that you can unlock, she goes invisible for a couple of seconds as
That's a nightmare to play against, for what it's worth.
Yeah.
Yep.
But no, and on those abilities, like none of the abilities, well, the invis is kind of powerful, like, and the instant heal is powerful, but none of the abilities are completely overpowered or game changing. They're just a nice to haves.
And I like how I haven't looked into 2 or 3 of the characters, but a lot of them are all support. They're not necessarily if you use like a Gibby ult to do damage, or you use like a Horizon ult to suck them in. It feels like it's more so playing for you and your team rather than
they're all team based.
Else.
Yeah, they're all team based abilities as opposed to DPS abilities are.
Yeah, which feels really nice for a change.
Yeah.
I really like the bubble.
Yeah, you were having fun with that.
The fact you can shoot out of it as well is great. Yeah.
The invis one, can they make teammates invis or just themselves?
No, it's just a solo.
Okay, I just wondering. Fair
enough. Yeah. But yeah, like I think their abilities, they're nice and kind of stretched out that no one feels weaker than another, and they're not too similar. They're all kind of standoutish for their own reasons. It's nice for like team composition. One person playing a bubble, another one playing a healer, another one playing a whatever else just on top of that. So you can get some really good synergy in that with your team fights, and I think that just adds to the more dynamic of a loop that it has. That if you want to play it a certain way, you pick certain characters to tailor to that. You know.
Yeah, like it felt great yesterday when we were like our loop seemed to be we spawn in, we split up to whatever compounds. If there was 3, we go to 1 each. 2, we'd split whatever way. And then we'd merge in on each other if someone found a team or if we were finished in those compounds. And then once you were merged as a team, the game really felt like you were actually playing the game then, because it was looking for, like, I was badly calling where other teams were. And
he's over there. Where?
On me. My left.
Straight in front of you. Which one?
No, it's like on the left, I turn around. It's now my right. No, the right. Wait, turn. Yeah. Just give me that 360-degree number.
Yeah, but
that's just a new, like, you play a game for the first time. You don't know the call outs. You just call. Like when we were going to that deal, was like, they're in church. Where's the church? That's I see the church now.
Yeah, but it's that idea that like it is very much I like that they make it a team-based game, because you have your character, you can play your own way. But the game doesn't really feel like it's coming together until your trio going in, trying to get extracted or engaging with another group. Where, like, I can't remember what it was yesterday. Maybe it was the one where we tried to get them into one compound, or maybe it was just before that. No, I think it was that one. And then the 2 teams came up outside.
Yeah.
And we all kind of worked. I think that's where my mic went, but we were working in a way that
it is actually, yeah.
But we worked in a way that, like, Kev went down and I'd put a few bullets into the guy that you were chasing, Dill. I popped my bubble. You'd gone out of my way, so I couldn't chase you. I went to res Kev. Kev screamed at me, "Don't res me, get Dill." You're like, "I need one more shot on him." I resed, could turn around, take the shot that you needed, but you just killed him. We could back up. And then, like, we could regroup again, and it felt like everyone had a role to play, and I really like that it's not just if Kev's dead, the team's wiped, or if Steven's the last one alive, it's like we're all fucked. It's like, no, if you can play the abilities and play well as a team, you can actually stand a really good shot.
Yeah. I think it's something that I think Apex was the first one to introduce it, was reviving your teammates or respawning your teammates. That, like, if you were playing a game of PUBG or you're in squads and you died in the first 2 minutes of the game, you were sitting there watching your friends play it, watching YouTube videos. And Apex brought it in that you could pick up your teammates' banners and bring them to a res beacon. And it's actually something that we never touched on yet, but Scavengers has its own version of that, where if you die, I think you get a 45-second or a 60-second death timer. And then the game, just as long as your two teammates don't die, as long as one of your team still survives, the game will revive you after your death cooldown is gone. So it's like 60 seconds, and it respawns you in the vicinity of your teammates. It won't spawn you directly on them, because if they're in gunfights it may not, but it spawns you near them. And that's really good, and you have unlimited of those. So like I could just die, get revived after a minute, die again, and it keeps bringing you back. So it's a really good loop that's like, I'm dead. I'll go put the kettle on, and by the time I'm back, my death timer will be gone. And I think you keep your gear, but you lose
absolutely everything
except for the data points. Yeah.
Which is great, because if you're
brilliant,
trying to go for weapons and shields in a late game stage, it is a bit kind of
and it also encourages like if you're in a gunfight that has gone south and both your teammates are dead, like we had it last night where people just run away, they dip out to try regroup, and that's actually where Steven's mic was dead, was that I think Dylan, I got downed, you won your fight, but then another team had pushed. It was a third party, and you got outright killed. But what me and Steven retreated, healed up, regrouped, and then went back and took out the team that had killed you, because you were revived by then. And then it was like, it was Teabag Central. But it's a good feature that was introduced first with Apex, and then obviously Call of Duty brought their own version in with the, what's it called?
Oh, the Gulag.
The Gulag. And I know Fortnite brought their own version in, so the Scavengers does have their own version of that, so it is death friendly. It's good.
Yeah, no, I really like, as someone who's not good at it, it's a good feature that if I get downed, I know if I have another two teammates who are good, they'll duck out, I'll be back in.
It's not detrimental to the rest of the game, which is nice.
Yeah, and as you said, I'm not sitting there watching YouTube for the next 15 minutes.
Yeah, that was the worst part of PUBG when I played it, when I first came across the PC, was that if I got killed by some absolute nonsense or just got hopped by a team or whatever, like you could be sitting there for an hour doing 45 minutes doing nothing, and it's just like, this is just a waste of game time. Like I don't even care about winning. I'm just gonna leave the team and play a game of solos while I wait for you. But I think another point to make on it as well, that the whole point of the game, like down to its bare bones, is to collect data points. All enemies drop them. You can get them from certain compounds that there's a thing that spits it out. You can pick up your enemies that you killed, data points, and the whole point of the game is to get those to the extraction ship. So the extraction ship is going to be at the very middle of the last circle, and if you don't get on that extraction ship, sorry about you. You get your experience from playing it. You get, like, you can still level up your character, but you don't get data points. And if I have 400 and you guys have 300 between you, if I don't get on that ship, but you two do, mine don't count. So it does, while it is a PvE VP game and you can play it as either or, it does force you into a bit of PvP at the end. Now you can avoid the fight. You could sit in the back on the high ground and just wait till there's 20 seconds, 10 seconds left and make a dart for that extraction ship. But that last circle is the real payoff for the rest of it. Like, the rest of the game is great. You're building up your periods. You might get a fight or two against enemies, which is what I enjoy in that sort of game. It's a battle royale. I want to get into gunfights with real people and be better, or get shat on. But that last minute or two, where there could be 7 or 8 teams still alive fighting to get on that extraction ship, it is hectic. And it's like, the only real way I can describe it is when in the Division's Dark Zone, if a team was extracting their gear that they got, and say they got an exotic rifle or whatever, and they were extracting their gear from one of the Dark Zone's points, and literally the whole server just converged into a fight. That's what it feels like, and it's great. It really is great.
And another thing they added in, which I really like, is I know you're probably playing the wrong game, but if you weren't into the PvP side of it, you just wanted to play that loop of getting your points and getting to the ship, there is small extraction points throughout the map.
There is. Yeah, there's uplinks, I think they're called, isn't it?
Uplinks, yeah.
Uplinks, yeah.
So you can go.
Yeah, we didn't hit one, Steven.
No, we didn't touch them last night. But if you want to eliminate yourself from that engagement at the end, you can go to these points, the uplinks, like Kev said, and deposit any data points you have into that. So if you don't make it onto the ship, your points are already sent, which is nice.
It's a really nice feature.
Yeah,
because
that's cool.
You kind of find when, say, one person has like 400 and the other two have like 100 each, if that person with 400 dies, it feels like your whole run is kind of jeopardized.
Can you drop data points for
Yes.
your teammate? So I think me and Etsy did that one day where I think Etsy was like, "Oh, there's a team over here," and just dropped all his data points. Kev, uplink them for me. I'm going for a fight.
Yeah,
so
it's a no loss then, because his data points aren't there. You're well away from where he is. He can fight it if it's a win-win. If he loses it, if he wins the fight, it's a bonus.
So there's a lot of different ways to play it, which is really nice.
Which that's the thing. Yeah. It doesn't force you into any one way, which is really nice.
Yeah, like the way
for different skill levels.
Yeah, exactly. Like the way I personally enjoy it is you spawn, get a couple of weapons, clear a compound, and then go looking for a fight. Because that's what I like doing. And that I play a battle royale game to kill real people.
I hate battle royale games because of that aspect. And I've played PUBG for a while, but I just didn't like it because I'm not good enough to challenge those people. And if I'm with someone, I'm carrying them down or dragging them down, and it's like it's not fun for me. We'll
have to play PUBG someday, Stephen.
No, we don't. No, but in Scavengers, it just doesn't feel. It doesn't have that sort of like. I don't know what it is. It doesn't have that anxiety around it, and it's really nice as someone who's casual and wants to play those games with friends but just can't. Like Dale, you and I played Apex during the week, and like that to me was still, I enjoyed it, but it was stressful because it's a case of like, if I'm down, I've dragged the whole thing down.
But you haven't. Like, we had a great time. We got you a win and everything, you know.
Did, but yeah, thanks for that, by the way. You've at the end were like, "I'll see you finish him off there, go on." I was like, "No, fucking shoot him, take shots." You're like, "No, go on, you're grand."
No shield, we're fine.
I think so what's really good about Scavengers, and I think it's the reason it's so enjoyable. So I think it was I think it was the Halo game director said it, that games are a 30-second loop. And it's something that Ralph talks about a lot on his skill up reviews, that like games have a 30-second loop, and you're doing the same thing. You're doing those same 30 seconds over and over and over again for however long you play that game. It could be 10 hours, 20 hours, 2,000 hours. And I think Scavengers has it's got a couple of loops. It's got the PvE clearing a compound loop. It's got the scavenging materials, the upgrade loop, and it's got the PvP loop. So it's got 3 really good 30-second loops there, and you could be doing any of them, and it's enjoyable to do it. And if it all goes wrong and you get killed and your team gets wiped, it's literally a case of just boot up another game, it's fine,
do it again. It's
not like, say, I think in PUBG is the perfect example, Stephen, that if you die, you could be sitting there for 30 minutes, 40 minutes. Same in Apex. If I'm playing Apex with whatever the guys, and if I get killed and they don't get my respawn banner, I could be sitting there watching them play it, and I'm not going to leave the game because I still want to get that win for the XP, whatever. But I think Scavengers has a really good loop of 30 seconds over. It's a really enjoyable one.
Even the traversal, like as you said earlier on,
Yeah, it's fun.
the running from the storms, like that 30-second loop is fantastic. I love just seeing a hill and be like, sweet, slide and jump.
Slide, jump, hit another slide. Slide, jump, hit another slide. It's great. Yeah.
It really is.
I think it's very simple stuff. It gets the really, really simple stuff right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, it doesn't do anything new. It
Things.
doesn't do anything, like, groundbreaking or new, but it takes the simple things and does that really, really well, which is good.
Yeah,
Like,
well,
even
think about...
go on.
I was just going to say, think about how we've been talking about this game. We've made a comparison to other games all the time. We haven't said, oh, this is new, or we've never seen this before. Like, everything is drawn from something else. So as you said earlier on, Kev, they're taking the best bits from different genres, different games, putting them together, and they've made a really good loop.
Like, they have that hero shooter
notes
aspect
were
as well.
positive as well.
Yeah, they happen. Like, I think that's the other side of maybe the loop we have, not the loop, but the side that we haven't spoken about. Like, now we're speaking about that there's characters and they have abilities, and that's the kind of hero thing they've taken from, say, an Overwatch or an Apex. So there's it's something else they've taken from somewhere else and done it really well, really simple, but really well. And I think that's what the game does as a whole really, really well.
Like, even simple things as if you're within a vicinity of the storm, you're clouded with a storm effect, and it's not just we can sit here and kind of camp the edge, wait for people to come in, because you can't see shit. And if someone else is doing the exact same thing a couple of 100 yards in, they can see you clear as day. But when you're in that vicinity of the storm, you feel like, shit, I should not be here, you know? Which I think it's just a nice little kind of additive to it.
And even the mini storms that happen outside, like inside the circle, like while they're annoying, they're cool to have that extra bit of like, oh shit, the area I'm in is dangerous, not just because of the circle, but because the world has decided, fuck you.
Yeah. That's really cool.
Actually,
I really enjoy it.
One thing we didn't touch on that I don't think it gets a lot of recognition for is the enemy design. I think from my count, so there's like 2 different enemy types. There's kind of humans and weird monster thingies.
Weird monster thingies.
Hive.
But they're actually like the humans are very Borderlandsy. They just remind me of the Scavengers from Borderlands. But the Hive, is that what you said?
Yeah, just thinking of them as the Hive.
Yeah, they're really cool, and the way that they come out and stuff. You okay, Kev?
Yeah. Sorry, it's completely off topic. Bungie just announced crossplay.
Nice.
Sorry, continue. We'll get to that in the news.
Okay, yeah. But the enemy design, I really like the monsters. I think they're really cool. I think they bring in an element of horror to the game that it's not really scary, but it's nice that it's not just these humans. And I feel like the way Apex has a story that comes in every so often, Scavengers could do that because we're trying to collect some sort of virus samples, aren't we?
Yeah, you're trying to get research on why it's happening, or why this anomaly is happening in this area.
And that could lead to a really cool story that happens overseas. And so, in a way, they're doing a bit of world building, whether they mean it or not, that I'm somewhat invested in through their enemy design and what's going on. So, for me, it was a solid point. I've completely lost the two of you now. So.
No, I was just saying, I actually enjoy when these BR games have that story. Like, I love I don't like calling it lore, because lore to me is something that it's not in a game. It's like, oh, this just exists because it exists. Whereas it has a nice story in the background in Apex with the relationships between characters and where they come from and what planets and what they done before the games and stuff. Whereas the story in this could develop further in a story-driven game, you know? Whereas it's creating a universe, like you said, in the background that has interests to it and isn't just like, go here, kill things, you know?
Yeah.
Now I've lost the boat to use.
No, I think I don't have a whole lot else to say about the game, really, apart from recommending it. But I think one thing where it falls down at the moment for me, and it's early access, so this isn't a criticism. It's early access, So it's gonna happen. I played PUBG when that was in early access. I can play fucking anything. But the performance... Okay, it's a beautiful looking game. Don't get me wrong. For a third person over the shoulder BR, it's a beautiful looking game. It's got a really nice art style. That's all great. But it has this weird stutter thing that happens. I know, and it was I fixed a lot of it by playing full screen instead of windowed full screen, and by I don't think I lowered any of my settings because I'm too proud to do that. But I did something else. I can't remember what I did, but I did something. I think it was turn VSync off or on. One of the other. I think I turned it on, which fixed it. Or something. I can't remember.
Might fix it.
Yeah, but anyway, it has this weird stutter thing that is really frustrating, and I think it's especially bad last night because there was also some server lag last night. I think there was a bit of server issues in there as well. Again, it's early access, so you should, if you're playing an early access game, you should expect problems.
Yeah.
And for the fact that it's early access, it has so few performance problems that it's genuinely impressive how few problems it has as an early access title. Because again, as I said, I played PUBG when that was early access, and my god, that was painful at times. But yeah, no, that's the only real thing I would, if you are going to give it a shot, just be aware that the servers can be a bit iffy. It's not bad. I've had worse than Iron Banner. But there is a weird kind of stutter, so fiddle with your settings just to try get it running properly before you jump into the into games, because it could be frustrating otherwise.
Yeah, but no crashes or anything like that. So
nothing like that.
It's a pretty stable game. So
it's definitely more than a 4 out of 10.
So I think that was a nice segue into a rating. So Stephen, from your first experience last night, how does it?
Can you rate an early access game?
Well, Fortnite was early access for the first 2 years.
I'm not going to give it a score because they are just arbitrarily meaningless. But what I will say is, for someone who doesn't enjoy BRs as much because of the anxiety and all the shit pressure that goes with it, I really enjoyed this. Like, I'm looking forward to playing that again. So much so that I was nearly tempted to boot it up today and do some, like...
Yeah. I woke up the day after playing it the first time. I woke up going, I want to play this again. I need to play this game. Dill's been having dreams about it.
Yeah.
So, like, if you're like me and you don't really like the PvP side of BRs, where there's that intensity, that RNG, that stress, and you don't really enjoy it, I really highly recommend it, because all of that is gone. Like, it's essentially non-existent up until the point where you're going into the closing circle, trying to get on the ship, and even then, it's not that it's stressful. It's this kind of hectic. Like, everyone's trying to get in. No one's trying to stop you personally from getting in. But if you're in their way, they're gonna shoot you.
Yeah.
But if the two people just want to run in, like, you're gonna just run in, and yeah, look, I highly recommend it for an early access BR game by people who I have no idea about. It's really stable. It's really fun.
Midwinter Entertainment is the name. I brought it up here just so I'd have it in front of me when I was giving my wrap up. Midwinter Entertainment and Improbable Worlds Limited are the publishers, as long as Midwinter.
Yeah, no, highly recommended from me anyway.
Yeah, can I just come in first still, because I need to go for a wee.
Go for it.
So just as a counterpoint to Steven's getting on the ship without the hecticness, just as the opposite end of that, when you are the only team on that ship because you fucking killed everybody else, it is a great feeling. When it happened, I think 2 or 3 times when we were playing it, Dill, with Etsky, and when you're the only team that gets on it, it's like you're standing at the edge of that dropship mooning the whole lobby. It's great. Bart Simpson style. But yeah, just again, I just echo what Steven said. It's early access. It's free. It's free. You've no excuse not. And by the way, I said earlier on, it's on Steam and Epic. It's also available for PlayStation and Xbox, so you can get it on early access on consoles. You've no excuse to not give it a shot. If you don't like it, don't play it. It's fine. But I will say that I'm really, really excited to see where the game goes. I would like to know if they're going to do another way Fortnite had Save the World brought into it, or it had it first, but then the BR came. But I'd be interested to know if there is a single player side to it. But I'm excited to see where this game goes. I'd highly recommend giving it a shot because it is a free to play title. Like, give it a go. What's the worst that can happen? You play it for an hour and not like it. But yeah, it's solid. It's solid. I'm excited to see what Midwinter do with it. I do have a point to make on that, but I'll let Dill give his impressions first because it's a kind of a tangent in a second. I'm going for a wee.
My favorite thing about it, I would say, is that from someone who plays Apex a lot, and it's like any other game, you only have one MMO, you only have one BR kind of game that you want to play just because you're invested in it. I like that it's a BR, but it's not competing with my time for Apex. And I don't know if I said that right in terms of the loop is so different to what I'd get on Apex as a different BR that it's kind of like if you're having a shit day in Apex and you want to play something different, but you still want to have that kind of PvP aspect, I would gladly jump into this for a couple of hours to just have that different loop, but still carry some of the aspects with it as well. That was one thing I kind of noticed, that it wasn't, I'd rather play this because it's more fleshed out because this is in early access, blah blah blah. But it's a different game, but it's very similar in so much as well. That was the biggest
cleanser to a bad day like an Apex.
Yeah, and like the loop, I love the loop in it. No two matches feel like they're the same, and I know that's kind of it's hard to say because obviously different situations in different BR games is the exact same. No two are the same, but it feels as if you want to play it slower, build up your data points, get to the end game. You can, if you want to just go in, practice your fucking PvP style, you can do that. Yeah. Really do enjoy it. And the addition of the ship at the end, having everybody converge on this one point. Like there's 4 or 5 entrances on the ship, but I like where they kind of tend to have it in an open zone. It's like when the ship comes down, it makes like kind of an ice kind of area around it, so that it's open. There's no like I'm hiding behind a tree beside it. You have to actually cover a couple of 100 yards to actually get onto that ship. So it's really beneficial if you want to be the person sitting there on the ship, taking people out as they're trying to come on, or vice versa, sitting off the ship and getting people as they're trying to get on, then just walking on yourself. It's I really enjoy that.
Yeah, so
I'd highly recommend it. Yeah.
So just for what it's worth, I know we're all saying we recommend playing it. It is sitting at mixed reviews on Steam at the moment. I don't know what that's down to. I haven't read any of them, but it is mixed in there. But I'd recommend it now. And I know, Deal, actually, you made a very good point. I was still listening. Take from that what you will. But you said that it's not fighting for your time with another BR.
Yeah.
And while I'm excited to see what Midwinter do with this game, because it's a really good concept, I'm also a little bit worried for it, having seen the leaks for Tom Clancy's Heartland, the Division Heartland. It's the same game.
Okay.
And it's the same game, but it's set in the Division universe. It's set in an already
fleshed
out game that people are very interested in it. Obviously, it's also a free-to-play experience. So while very excited to see it, I think there was a gameplay leak. I haven't seen much of it. I saw a little bit of it, and obviously we can't show it because we just get deleted from the earth by Ubisoft. But it's the same game. It's the same idea. It's survival, BR, PvE, VP. So
because even Fortnite are bringing out like an LTM of the same concept of Scavengers.
That's what Fortnite do. They see, that game did something. Oh, we can do that. So it's interesting to see where it goes, but I would be a little bit concerned. Basically, from what I could tell, the Division Heartlands E3 presentation got leaked. That's what I think happened. I could be completely wrong. It's out there, but yeah, that's the end of it.
Like, there is another side to that as well, because I think when Warzone got announced, and I remember that trailer when it came out, everyone's reaction was, this is the BR killer. This is like, everyone's going to be playing this. It didn't take off as well as I'd anticipated anyway. I think people have, like...
I wonder did I win that bet yet, actually.
I remember that one. But, like, people like different art styles. People like not having that kind of realism in certain games. And I think with the kind of, I don't want to say cartoonish, but the creative style of it, that makes it kind of a fantasy element rather than like, I know it's some people's, it's not, I wouldn't even call it a niche, but some people don't like playing realistic games like that, like The Last of Us. I think that kind of, it's too kind of hyper realism. Ghost Recon
Wildlands, is it?
That was very similar to, you have to sit at a fire and eat and craft up your shit, and it's too, I'm playing a game to play a game. I don't want to be reminded of the realities of reality.
And that's absolutely fair. That's absolutely fair. Yeah, 100%.
That was a very convoluted way of saying that, but yeah.
So yeah, if you're interested in playing The Division's Dark Zone crossed with Fortnite, crossed with a little bit of Ark or one of those survival games, this game is for you. Give it a shot.
Yeah, savage.
Really no, it is good. It is really, really enjoyable. It's one of those that you just be sitting there trying to play Scavengers. Yeah, why not? Yeah. It's like, remember It was like Rocket League. Trying to play a few games of Rocket League. Yeah, why not? So
that's one thing. It's like, it's not fighting for your main game spot. Yeah. It's just, it's a nice kind of add-on to have.
Is it? I don't know. Is it going to be? Is it always going to be free to play? Or
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I can't find it. I can't find anything about it.
All your progress is getting expunged, which I'm a bit sad about.
Which is why I'm not putting any money in. I can't see anything here about it to see if wait, the developers worked on Farmville? Okay. I can't see it in here. I don't know if it's gonna be free to play forever. There's nothing here about it. Doesn't say. Okay. Anyway, shall we move on and do the news quickly, and then I can get my dinner?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Everything done about Scavengers? We don't need to talk about that anymore?
100%. We all love it.
He said play it. He said play it. I say play it. Go play it. And if you need someone to play it with, you know where we are.
Go find someone.
Imagine sending somebody a DM asking to play a game.
Imagine. What? Right.
I sit here for 12 hours a day playing games with no messages. What?
Never. I don't get messages. I just sit there by myself. I'm gonna just, before I swap over to the news, I will share it into you guys. I'm gonna start with the news that just came out because it's the biggest news for me anyway, and probably for us. The TWAB came out there about 20 minutes ago, which was perfectly timed. We won't go into it too much. Vault of Glass is out this Saturday. Can't wait for it. It has contest mode starting at 10 a.m. Pacific on Saturday. That goes to obviously 10 a.m. Pacific on Sunday. That is 6 p.m. Ireland and UK time for those who live in this part of the woods. You need to be at 1300 power. You're also capped at 1300 power. That's all there. We've gone through that before. That's great. You can get a raid ring for completing it before May 25th. You can get a jacket for completing it by June 1st. It's the first jacket I'm tempted to get, but I don't really wear jackets because I don't. Anyway, here's the big one. Crossplay in the early hours of Season of Splicer, which was Tuesday last week, people were able to do some crossplay, which was a little bit weird, and probably shouldn't have happened. But now we know why. So there is a crossplay beta starting next Tuesday, the 25th, through to Friday. I find it funny that it ends on Friday before Trials goes live. But like, you're able in Vanguard Strikes, just a crossplay beta, and you can play that match made with Guardians on PlayStation, Xbox, Steam, and Stadia, all three of them. So that's really cool. And if you complete 3 strikes in Vanguard Strikes crossplay beta playlist, you'll be rewarded with this really nice emblem. I've already messaged my friend and said on PlayStation, and I'm like, get on next week, we're playing, let's do it, let's go. Amazon Prime rewards, they're all cool. Go get them if you have Prime. Gift your Prime sub to your favorite streamer for free, but don't give it to someone who has 2,000 million followers. Give it to one of your friends. Chaotix is a nice guy. Go to twitch.tv/Chaotix. Give him your Twitch Prime sub. He'll appreciate you. Hotfix stuff, whatever, doesn't matter. Yeah, no issues. I won't go into all of this. I don't know any of those people. I won't show it. And artist stuff. So yeah, that's really cool. Crossplay beta starts next week. That's huge. Like, that's huge. Did everyone leave me?
No, Dill's gone really quiet.
Shit, I'm
I can just.
No, you're back. You're back.
I'm back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just saying, like, I think crossplay is something that should be there from the beginning with these.
Oh, 100% it should be.
So, yeah.
However, I think the reason it probably wasn't was because PlayStation were so restrictive with it when Destiny came out first.
Exclusive weapons as well.
Yeah,
and
there was so much. And because Destiny had an agreement with PlayStation, they probably just this. I don't think crossplay is just as simple as turning it on. Like the systems, the systems have to be made for it, and this shit takes time. But it is great. I know it's not there yet, and it's in beta, but it is great to see more developers being allowed to embrace crossplay, because stop being so restrictive. And this is going to go really nicely with Discord and PlayStation's agreement. So yeah. It becoming. I agree with what Dill says, that it should be there from the beginning, but crossplay being something that is there from the beginning for all games going forward should be the benchmark.
Yeah.
Anyway,
100%.
Can't wait to play with my old clan mates again. I got a few new raid people coming in.
Can't wait to get.
Connor, looking at you.
I can't wait to get a new clanmate or a few. I'll send you invites because that's what I do. Moving on, we got a really nice surprise announcement today, and that is that a new Time Splitters game is coming back. The franchise is coming back to life. Time Splitters was amazing back in the day. My friend John that I grew up with was like, as soon as I hear Time Splitters, I think of John. So that's really exciting news, especially if you played the old games. For what it's worth, Time Splitters is a shooter, but it's really cool. It's really fun. I'm really looking forward to that. Now,
I've never actually played Time Splitters.
Yeah. Now, it's probably a few years away, but yeah, this was my reaction. This gift right here.
Good old Reggie.
Good old Reggie.
Development on a game that has not yet started. It's definitely 5 years away.
Yeah. I don't know.
Minimum.
It's not a hyper realistic game, so development might be able to be done in 3 years, but we'll see.
It'll still be out before Elden Ring.
It'll still be out before Elden Ring. Speaking of Elden Ring, nice little segue here. Jeff Keighley announced his Summer Game Fest opening night is returning on June 10th. I'll switch over to the developers that are appearing there in a second, but there's more than 30 appearing, developers and publishers. That's on June 10th. I don't know what time that's at. I can't see it. But Summer Game Fest runs...
7 p.m.
is running 2 days ahead of E3. So E3 is on 12th to 15th of June, whereas Game Fest is on June 10th, which is only 2 weeks away. Holy shit. And I think
it's one show and not just random 20-minute segments.
His big one,
3 or 4 days.
No, his big one is I think he has a big one. So it's a 3-hour live stream event on June 10th, 3 hours. That's going to be a nice sit down and watch. Mm-hmm. And then I think there's going to be further. So he'll reveal everything in the big show, and then he'll have like individual developers, and they'll deep dive into stuff more, if that makes sense, which is fine. So he said it how many was at it, but there's like a ton of new things being shown.
There was 12 new things.
I think there's 12 new ones, or something like that. So yeah,
12 worldwide exclusives. Yeah,
that's what it was.
Exclusives,
12.
whatever they call it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, these are all there's some big hitting names there, like EA, Blizz is there, hello, Epic, Square Enix is
Bandai
there.
Namco,
Like I think
Amazon Games.
Amazon, they've only got one game to show off, and they're making an absolute fucking mess of it. That's actually news I didn't include in this. I forgot to include that. Let's sell fast travel as a microtransaction. Fuck off. That's my opinion. This one's a little close to home, and I'm really happy to see it. J.J. Abrams' Bad Robot, which made Fringe. Love J.J. Abrams, love what he does with films. But they are launching a AAA title. He has formed a new AAA studio that is working on an original AAA game made in collaboration with extra lens flare, made in collaboration with Bad Robots Film, TV, and animation departments. So J.J. Abrams owns Bad Robot. It's a film company, TV company, and yeah, they're combining with Left 4 Dead's creator to make a new AAA title, which is really cool.
He's gonna push ray tracing forward. Telling you now, his studio. will do that.
He's gonna send ray tracing through time and bring it back in a different timeline, and then bring it to the first timeline again, and then there'll be two of everything.
But realistically, it's Rey Skywalker.
Realistically. This was previously announced,
Nice.
but GTA 5's next gen upgrade.
Think of hearing about GTA fucking 5.
I know. GTA 6
been out for 60 years.
Yeah, but GTA 6 is gonna be at least 3 or 4 years away, 5 years easily.
Crazy.
It's still making money. It had its second highest year ever last year.
Crazy, isn't it?
It's fucking nuts. But yeah, the next gen update is coming in November. I'm assuming Skyrim will also get one around then. Actually, November 11th is the actual 10th anniversary of Skyrim. Yeah. So it'll be interesting because Skyrim is also getting a next gen upgrade. So it'll probably come around then as well. What?
Actually, controversial. The next gen upgrade will be Xbox exclusive.
No, it won't.
It will, because they only have Xboxes available. You still can't get a PS5.
You can't get an Xbox either. But no, they won't. It'll be for both because...
Could you imagine? Imagine if you did.
No, but because they're continuing to support the likes of Elder Scrolls Online and that. So they're supporting games that are already out. It's new games coming out that are going to be exclusive. Which, Stephen, that's a very good segue. Starfield is suggested to be an Xbox and PC exclusive, which is the news that everybody was so shocked to hear for whatever reason, even though Uncle Jeff, that is, not Jeff, Uncle Phil, told us this months ago, but everyone was still surprised when other Jeff, this is why I said Uncle Jeff, when Jeff Grubb said that it's going to be exclusive. Nobody really knows anything about Starfield apart from it's by Bethesda, and there's a screenshot from a camera phone.
Fallout in space, that's all I'm going for.
That's what it's, Fallout in space. There's some screenshots.
That'd be nice,
Anyway, that's probably going to get revealed at... Actually, that's news I don't have in here. Xbox and Bethesda have confirmed that they're doing a joint show this year as part of E3, so that's going to be interesting to see all the big hitters at that. Last of Us Part 2, spoke about this earlier. It's getting a targeting 60... I like how it says targeting 60 FPS. But it's getting a 60 FPS upgrade for PS5 and Xbox Series X, Lamau. But, yeah, one of my biggest complaints while actually playing The Last of Us 2 was the 30 FPS. It was painful because 30 FPS should be a thing of the past at this stage. But, yeah, that's fixed. Don't worry about it. That's all great now if you have a PS5. So, yeah. I'm sure, like, whatever you think of The Last of Us Part 2, it's a stunning looking game. Like, it's beautiful looking game. So to be able to play that at a smoother frame rate, that's only a good thing. And the last bit of the news is really moving on to free shit this week. NBA 2K21 was the surprise free game on the Epic Game Store for the next week from today until next Thursday. nobody's really excited about NBA 2K21 on PC. Let's be honest. I think most sports fans own a console really because you don't like what. It's a PC. They just released the console. They just ported the PC anyway. It's the console version. It's not any nicer looking. And next week's game is also a mystery. I'm gonna put my tinfoil hat on and say that this is Final Fantasy VII Remake for PC. Lamel, not really.
It's Battlefield 5.
I think Battlefield 5 is probably a very good guess.
Alien vs Predator 2.
Or Alien vs Predator 2. Or Horizon Zero Dawn.
I'd love for it to be Horizon.
I have a feeling it may not be this one. It might be a week early. Whatever, if there's a surprise game around E3, I think that might be Horizon. Because it's already been free on PlayStation. And E3 will have Horizon Forbidden West. I'm sure a release date. What a time to drop a free version of Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah.
Get the hype. Get the hype up. Get all the hype up for it.
While we're on the Epic Game Stores, I'll also just say that they have their mega sale on with the reusable €10 coupon on games $14.99 and above, and there are bangers out. Like you can get
Hades half
right
not
now.
Kena. Phoenix Rising is half price. I literally have no excuse.
Phoenix Rising for the base version is €20. Cyberpunk is €38. The Hades is $6.49. Mortal Shell is 11 quid. There's some fucking serious games for sale there. So
and actually, speaking of that as well, Humble Bundle have a really good deal this month. It's the first good one in a while, I think, because I'm pretty sure Humble Bundle was taken over by IGN, and it's just gone to the dog. It's gone to the dogs. Humble Bundle used to be this really genuine, nice thing in the games world, and IGN ruined it because IGN like ruining things. And then the last real bit to touch on is the games that came out. The games that came out last week was Assassin's Creed Valhalla, its expansion, Wrath of the Druids, which brings you to lovely old Ireland. You can actually go to a town that's like pretty close to where my granddad's from in Longford, which is kind of wild that you can go to Longford in Assassin's Creed.
Jesus.
That's out, and people seem to be enjoying it. I'd like to be able to play just that expansion because Valhalla is so bloated and so long that I don't want to play the whole thing. But I'd like to be able to just pick that expansion and play it because it's very rare that a game comes to Ireland. Let's be honest. Like I can't think of any off the top of my head. And then Subnautica, the one underwater came out last week. Well, it's underwater.
Below Zero or something.
Whatever it was. Sub-Zero, whatever. I don't know. Mortal Kombat might copyright strike them there. But yeah, Subnautica came out. And then this week, the big hitter was obviously Mass Effect's Legendary Edition came out the other day. And Days Gone for PC came out. And while the lead director had a bit of a whinge last month, this month, the lead actor's having a bit of a whinge about... I think he's having a whinge about the media reviewers. Apparently,
one reviewer in particular for not mentioning the horde mode.
Yeah, but like the way that the people who, a handful to be fair, of people who worked on that game are behaving, it kind of turns me off playing the game. I'm not gonna lie, that's just my take. There is something else out. Oh, it's that dodgeball game is out.
For console or
console and
Wreckfest.
Epic. Not Wreckfest.
No.
I can't think of the name of it.
Derby type thing.
It's something.
Destruction All Stars.
No, that's the car game.
No.
Anyway, I can't think of the name of it. Steven's gonna get it for me real quick when I talk about it. But it's free on PlayStation Plus, as far as I'm aware. I think. Anyway, for the first 10 days of that game being live, of coming out, you can get a free 10-day pass to that game. No strings attached. You can play that game for 10... Knockout City. So, it's a really nice gesture by the devs. That They're so confident in their product that they are letting everybody play it free for 10 days. No strings attached.
Nice.
So yeah. I've no interest in it personally, but yeah. It looks fun, but it's not for me.
Speaking of playing things for free for a certain amount of time, Final Fantasy 14.
So we're going to wrap up the podcast for this week. I've been... No, I'm joking.
Nah.
Yeah.
I'm joking too.
Do we have anything else to talk about before we wrap it up?
No, I think we're good.
The only real thing we have is Vault of Glass on Saturday. Stephen below got drafted into the day one raid team because we had a dropout, which was fair enough. Like, this life happens. At least we had plenty of notice, but Stephen's getting drafted in as the replacement. So we will be going for World.
Sound like I was, wanted to be in. No, you had to say drafted in, drop out, not Stephen was welcomed in. Yeah, like not we wanted Stephen in or anything.
I won't say I flipped a coin. Well, for clarity, I wanted you in the one Deepstone Crypt time, but I thought you wouldn't be able to do it because of the time commitment. So we did want you in. But anyway, yeah, we will be going for World's First, like half the community. Let's be honest, we're not going to get World's First, but we will at some point be World's Latest. We'll get our completion, we will get our emblems and do the challenge mode one, and we will be happy and walk away proud. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. That's on Saturday. That's where I'm going with this. Chaotix, friend of the channel, will be streaming it. I'll put his Twitch link in the description below. It's twitch.tv/Chaotix. That's KAO. I don't know how to spell it.
EIX?
KAOTIZX or XZ. Anyway, I'll put it in the description below. It's twitch.tv/Chaotix. We'll be rating there. Go watch me give out to somebody at some point, and support his channel because he's a nice guy. He's a nice kid. I think next week we are going to do a full impression breakdown of Destiny 2 Season of the Splicer, including Vault of Glass, and including the weekly Expunged mission, which is dropping next Tuesday, which is going to be exciting. And then the week after that, we might do something big. We'll see how it goes. I've been Kev. I'm going to shut up and let you guys sign off. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, no, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it every week. And tune in again next week, hopefully, or tune in on Saturday and watch us raid for World's First.
What if I don't like tuna and I like salmon?
Well, then salmon on in.
Salmon on in.
Slam it on in. There we go.
For what it's worth, me and Dylan wore the same t-shirt tonight, so I put a jumper on.
Dylan, sign us out.
Oh, he did you dirty. He did
Like a double-ended. That was our review on Scavengers. Hope you got some insight into the game.
Go play it.
Maybe give you a bit of encouragement to try it out. It's free, after all. We will be back next week with our review from our Vault of Glass and this season of Destiny. So we'll see you then.
Peace out.
Bye.
Bye. Kev's going to get a curry.
Yeah, I got a message saying we're playing ranked in 10 minutes.
Nice. Enjoy.
20 minutes
Bye,
ago.
stream. Bye.